Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Banishing the Doubt, Living Your Best Life. And today, what I want to talk about is really how our thoughts, how they affect our body on a granular level, on a chemical level, just how our thoughts are affecting us. So you'll see it playing out if you're driving, if you're of the age to drive, you'll know what I'm talking about. You see it playing out on the roads today. You hear about road rage. It's an election year, so a lot of stress, a lot of attention is being paid to the political climate today. So I really wanted to take a few minutes and discuss with you guys and talk with you guys about how it affects our body, but mechanisms, things that we can do to become really more aware of what we've been thinking about and how we can sort of start to shift and change the narrative within us and really to become the person that we are on the inside, and how by doing this we can really start to craft the life that we all want for ourselves and for our loved ones. So I want to start off, and I know it's hard maybe for you guys to see this, but here's a quote from Dr. Joe Dispenza. Just as thoughts are the language of the brain, feelings are the language of our body, and how we think and how we feel create a state of being. A state of being is when our mind and our bodies are working together. Some refer to it as the heart mind connection. Okay, the heart and the mind, when they are aligned, we can feel it. Okay, so a state of being is our genuine mind body connection. Okay, the mind and body, the heart and the mind. So just wanted to kind of give you guys another example of how um, just how destructive poor thinking really is and how it has permeated our society. Did you know that 75 to 90%, or 4 out of every 5 people that visit a healthcare facility, do so because of either emotional or psychological stress? 90% of the people go there for that reason. 4 out of 5 people. Okay. So what happens is when we have a thought, a negative thought, that takes our body out of balance. So our body in its natural state is in what's called homeostasis. So homeostasis is nice and even, nice, level, even balance. Whenever we have a negative thought or a stimulus, shifts us out of balance. And chemicals are actually created within our body that shifts us out of balance. So the body then the mind brings our body back into homeostasis, back into balance. So all it takes is an image and a stimulus. There's an image. Okay, let's say you had an argument with a coworker or a loved one, a spouse, and you carry that image with you. It's unresolved, or it ends up in a situation where neither one of you end up talking to each other, let's say. So we carry that image. Whenever we think of that conversation, that argument, it elicits the image, and the image immediately um, produces a stimulus. So we have an image and a stimulus, image and a stimulus. And the more times we play this over in our mind, and we've all done this, I know I've been guilty of it, talking to the other person when they're not around or driving in our car, our body is immediately being knocked out of balance. So, one example, you take this over a lifetime, and it's why so many people end up with disease or dis-ease, disease. Okay? So, some more notes that I wrote down here. We have what's called the autonomic nervous system, ANS, okay? And what that does, it works to bring our body back into balance. I just discussed that a minute ago. However, some of the emotions that we deal with, anger, frustration, envy, jealousy, unworthiness, guilt, fear, um, insecurity, anxiety. These are just some of the emotions that we, sort of wrestle with, we deal with. So I know you're listening to me here and you're probably thinking, okay, well, this doesn't really help. Just how do I deal with this? Well, by listening to someone like myself and watching these videos, we become more aware. And we want to let go of these emotions. And how do we do that? We do that every single day. We do it one day at a time. Just like we are walking, we take one step at a time. Okay? We start to think about what we've been thinking about. Okay? So, perfect example for you guys, and I know for myself, driving on the highway, right? And we come to our exit, but there's a long line to get off of the exit. We get behind the car in front of us, and what invariably happens, and you're probably saying it already, somebody's going to try to cut in, right? But what's our first reaction? Most of us, nope, not me, So we drive up and we get behind the person. We practically get in their trunk. We're so close to them. Maybe the other person is just got a bad information. You got a text message. Maybe a loved one's in danger. We don't know. But what that does, that person wanted to cut in our line, takes us back to whatever happened in our childhood or something else, right? We go back to childhood. Somebody, John, Miss Teacher, Johnny's cutting line, right? So that image is in our head. The stimulus is that person wanting to cut in line here, 30, 40 years later. We're still carrying that image in our head of Johnny cutting in line in third grade. So we step back. You know what? We say, go ahead. If it's that important to you, you can go ahead of me. That's fine. But we are also grappling with that feeling inside of us, the ego inside of us. But we become more aware. And in a moment, we just sort of lower the temperature. Our bodies get back into homeostasis. So the more times in our lives that we can recognize the imbalance, recognize where we are reacting to a stimulus, and then we can consciously bring ourselves back into homeostasis, back into balance. We start to do that over and over again, sort of a layering effect. Our lives start to, almost like air coming out of a balloon. You start to bring everything down, bring the temperature down in our life. Okay? So one of the other pieces of information that I got from listening to Dr. Joe was that whenever that stimulus and emotion elicits in our life, that immediately conditions the body into imbalance. It's that fast. Okay? So one of the things, and the other part of this is we have self-doubt. Because of what happened in our past, we have self-doubt. Our subconscious is like a giant, um, filing cabinet, if you will. Okay, every image in our mind anything that happened to us in our life that was traumatic, that good or bad. Okay, so something very good, something that was traumatic, it gets filed away in our subconscious. See, our subconscious is so it doesn't see right or wrong, good or bad. In that moment, it doesn't say, "Now look here, George. This is wrong. You talked about this." It just says, "Okay, if that's what you're thinking, that's what you're feeling. We're just going to give you more of what you're thinking and you're feeling." Again, the layering effect within our life. Okay. So I heard a story recently. It was pretty humorous. So a guy goes to the doctor and he says that, "Doc, yeah, I just don't feel good. I got all these problems. I don't feel good." And the doctor looks at him and says, "Well, you're right, boy, oh boy. Okay." So he starts to write. He gets his pad out. And he starts writing prescriptions and writing prescriptions and writing prescriptions and writing prescriptions. So the guy goes to leave. He reaches over for the prescriptions, and the doctor says to him, "Oh, no, 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 these are not for you." The guy says, "No?" He says, "No." He says, "Well, this one here, this is for your mother-in-law. This one here is for your sister. This one here is for your brother. This one here is for your coworker. This one," see what I'm saying? It's us, but we put it out on them. So how we change is we change inside. We never change the outside. Not the person cutting in line on us on the highway. Okay, it's not Johnny cutting in line back in the third grade. It's us. The more we become more centered and relaxed and lowering the temperature in our lives, in our inside of us, our life will become easier. The more we start thinking about what we've been thinking about, the universe and life will just start to unwind for us. Not saying that situations won't come up, they will, but the awareness we have will help us to deal with it much, much better. So I hope this helped you guys a little bit. Until next time, this is George McNamara with Banishing the Doubt, helping you live your best life now. If you do me a favor, just subscribe and like this channel. And also leave a comment down below and share this so we can help to get this out to as many people as possible. So until I see you guys again, have a wonderful day. This is George McNamara with Banishing the Doubt, helping you live your best life.